प्रणयवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear Prabhus. Welcome to our this week's Bhakti Shastri class. So we have with us Ajinkya Prabhu, Alkesh Prabhu, Vivek Prabhu, Akshay Prabhu, Ashish Prabhu, Prasanna Prabhu, Tejas Prabhu, Sanket Prabhu, Kartik Prabhu, Ravi Prabhu, Santipan Prabhu, Trishang Prabhu, Vivek, Abhinandan Prabhu, Meghraj Prabhu, and Rohit Prabhu. I guess some more devotees will join soon. So yesterday we could not have. Actually, I'm in Udupi Dham here, and because of network issues, I thought better to have today. So in the last class, we have been discussing on this first chapter. We are almost about to complete the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and it is said Bhagavad Gita. So one of the most commented book, and so many acharyas chose to put commentary on Bhagavad Gita. The reason is Bhagavad Gita is a basic foundational knowledge of spiritual life. So like I'm in Udupi Dham here. So even when Madhvacharya wrote commentary on Bhagavad Gita, so he said कि first if you want to establish spiritual doctrine, then we have to have commentary on Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta Sutra. So and all these meanings without Acharya commentaries, without Acharya commentaries, the meaning of Bhagavad Gita can be distorted in a many ways. So recently I was just hearing every shloka in a Veda has three meanings. Every word. So one word, every one word of shloka Vedas can be made into three meanings. Can you imagine? Every word of Mahabharata can be put into 10 different meanings. And it is said every word of विष्णु सहस्त्र नाम का हर वर्ड उसके 100 मतलब है. Every word. So even Vishnave या Vishnu इसके 100 meanings. Like that 100 into 100 or sometimes 1000 meanings they say. So you see the scriptures are so oceanic and vast. And unless we read the scriptures in the line of Guru Parampara, there are great chances that will come to the wrong meaning. And that's why Acharyas have given us very mercifully these commentaries. So, just to give a brief recap of what we have been discussing, we have been discussing on the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is named as Arjun Vishada Yoga or Sainya Nirdeshan. So, this chapter is basically divided into two parts: Sainya Nirdeshan, that is observing the armies, and second part of this is called as Arjun Vishada Yoga. So, the first verse begins with Dhritarashtra's inquiry to Sanjay about because Dhritarashtra was blind and he was partial to his sons. So he inquired, what did his sons and Pandavas do on the battlefield? So in from verse number 2 to 11, there is a Duryodhana's fear which is being mentioned. Duryodhana is fearful, but yet he is very diplomatic. He's describing the armies, and we discussed about how Duryodhana is going to Dronacharya and describing the party that Pandava's army is how much, our army is how much. So he was materialistically minded and he always had material calculations. That's why he was calculating in this way. Then verse number so D for Dhritarashtra. So verse number 1 to 11 is standing for D, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana's diplomacy. That is verse number 1 to 11. From verse number 12 onwards, 12 to 19 verses, they are showing the blowing of different conch shells, how the signs of victory are there on the side of Pandavas. So the different conch shells are being blown, and Lord Krishna is also blowing the conch shell, and we discussed in detail about different Shankha. So quiz time. What is the name of Shankha of Krishna? And what is the name of conch shell of Arjuna? Who knows? Please quickly. Yes, Darshan Prabhu.
Dhananjay, sorry. Panchajanya is of the Rishikesha, Krishna, and of
Okay.
Arjuna it is Devadatta.
Haribo. Jai. One. And what is the name of Shankha of Bhima?
Montruck.
Okay, wonderful. So like this different conch shells are. So verse number 2 to 11, this blowing of conch shell is being shown. Verse number 2 to 19, sorry, 12 to 19. 12 to 19 is blowing of different conch shells, and omnious signs of victory that is being mentioned. Now, verse number 20 to 27 comes about you, that there is still an uncertainty which is going to come. Despite of all these things, Arjuna is getting overwhelmed with compassion. That is uncertainty. And now Arjuna is getting bewildered from verse number 28 to 46. Around, 28 to 45. Arjuna is going to get bewildered. He's going to give around 5 reasons. Okay, what are the 5 reasons? Can quickly somebody recollect? One reason you can tell that what are the 5 different reasons which Arjuna gives? Okay, first reason number one,
First is compassion.
compassion. Okay, compassion. So he was feeling compassion. That how what was Arjuna's argument about compassion, Prabhu?
Compassion to means all living entities. So many people will die on the battlefield.
Yeah, so he was feeling compassion for the relatives and the other things. Yeah, wonderful. So in the verse number 28 to 30, the first reason is being given. 28 number and 28, 29, 30 is discussing about the aspect of compassion. Okay, very good. Then second reason,
Enjoyment.
enjoyment. Very good, Prabhuji. So enjoyment. So in the verse number 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 31 to 35, there is a discussion about enjoyment. So what was Arjuna's argument about enjoyment, Prabhu?
Arjuna was not ready to fight because yeah, he was saying like even though if I win the war, I will just enjoy the kingdom.
हाँ,
So
how will I enjoy? सब लोग मर गए तो किसको दिखाऊंगा मैं? It is said ना, owner's pride is neighbor's envy. Sometimes it is said, we want to show off. Everything is a show off business in this world. If there is no one to show off, nowadays like we come to Dham also, or we go to any holy place, anywhere we travel, first people take their mobile cameras. अरे even
mhm.
after before coming to temple, sometimes we tell people, वो दर्शन तो लीजिए थोड़ा. अरे पहले मोबाइल फोन निकालते हैं और इंस्टाग्राम व्हाट्सएप अपडेट स्टेटस और देखते रहते हैं कितने लोगों ने मेरा व्यू किया, कितने लोगों ने मैसेज रीड किया. Because we feel more happiness by showing others that I am very happy, although we are not so happy. Like I remember there was one devotee, वो गया कुछ तो प्रसाद खाया. एक्चुअल में प्रसाद इतना अच्छा नहीं था वो, मतलब समो प्रसाद इज वेरी स्पिरिचुअल बट इट वाज नॉट वेरी टेस्टी, थोड़ा गड़बड़ था उसने. तो भी फोटो खींच के सबको भेज दिया, कैसे मैं एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ, देखो देखो मैं कैसे एंजॉय कर रहा हूँ. तो देर इज अ टेंडेंसी टू ऑलवेज शो ऑफ टू पीपल. एंड सो ही सेड, अर्जुन इज थिंकिंग, अरे मैंने सब कुछ प्राप्त भी कर लिया तो व्हाट इज द यूज, whom I will show. So he's telling these reasons in verse number 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. That is, he's giving one second reason, that is not to fight. Okay, what is the third reason, Prabhu? He's saying
Fear of sinful reaction.
fear for sinful reactions. That if you kill even an ant, it incurs sinful reaction. If you eat onion garlic, it is some onion garlic or something which is not offered to Krishna, it can result into sinful reaction. And you are telling such a big thing. You kill your guru only, kill your mother, kill your relatives, kill your brothers, kill your everything. So ये सब क्या sinful reaction आने वाला है, पूरा खून से बहने वाला है. So you know the story of Muchukunda Raja. There is a in the Srimad Bhagavatam there comes a story of Muchukunda Raja. So this Muchukunda Raja, he comes to uh, Lord Krishna specially makes an arrangement to give him darshan. And then that time, there is one very important statement which Krishna says. Krishna says, although you are a very great devotee, pure devotee, everything is there, but still you are not completely purified. He said, you have some resultant sinful reactions because of your profession. So he said, your profession was of king. Sometimes we say ना that राजा है, राजा को slaughter allowed है, राजा को hunting allowed है, राजा को सब कुछ allowed रहता है. लेकिन इसका मतलब ऐसा नहीं है, उसको उसका प्रायश्चित करना पड़ता है. अगर वो प्रायश्चित नहीं किया है उसने, ऐसा प्रॉपर प्रोसेस नहीं किया है, तो राजा ऑल्सो गेट्स अ रिएक्शन फॉर डूइंग ऑल दिस थिंग्स. सो ही सेज मुचुकुंदा को कि अभी तक आपने इतना हंटिंग किया है, ये किया है, प्रजा को ये किया है, तो उसका आपका थोड़ा रिएक्शंस बचे हैं. तो इस लाइफ में आप भगवत धाम नहीं आओगे, अगले लाइफ में आप बहुत फर्स्ट क्लास डिवोटी बनोगे, वेरी हाई क्लास प्योर डिवोटी ऑफ लॉर्ड यू विल बिकम, एंड इन द नेक्स्ट लाइफ यू विल कम टू मी. सो हु ही बिकम्स इन द नेक्स्ट लाइफ? मुचुकुंद महाराज, एनीवन नोस?
Pundalik.
Pundalik, Pundalik, correct. So he becomes Pundalik in the next life, and Pundalik means who? That is the devotee of Lord Vitthala, for whom Lord Vitthala comes. So he becomes like that. So there is a surely fear of sinful reactions. Okay, what is the fourth reason? One of the very powerful reason which Arjuna is saying that not to fight.
Varuna Shankar.
Okay, that is fifth reason, I guess. Or okay, fourth and fifth, correct. Fourth reason, Varna Sankara. And any other?
Indecision.
Okay, that is fifth reason. Fourth reason is what he's saying, Varna Sankara only, but there is something more about Varna Sankara.
Destruction.
Destruction of family
Destruction of-
tradition.
Destruction of family traditions. If the family traditions are destroyed, then all the yajna, dana, tapa, all the culture will go away, and it will create a huge disturbance. That's why it is very important not to destroy the family culture. At least demigod worship they will keep on doing. At least the tradition to respect sadhus, saints, and reading scriptures will continue. He said otherwise it will have a big effect. And as Prabhu also said, Varna Shankara, unwanted population will increase. And then later, indecision, which is going to come in the next chapter. So Arjuna is deciding not to fight. So this was a brief overview. So any recollection, Prabhu, till which verse we discussed last time? I think we completed the overall, but
1.40.
which one?
1.40.
1.40. 1.40 we completed. Okay,
Yes,
reading of the purpose. Okay. So recently I was just discussing with our Prabhuji, क्या कहते हैं, Vamshi Vadan Prabhu. So I was discussing with Vamshi Vadan Prabhu. I was just taking some guidance about how to conduct Bhakti Shastri a little more effectively online. And I said, Prabhuji said, I have stopped all online batches. I said, why, Prabhuji? So he said, online almost it's a very bad bargain for Bhakti Shastri, he said. And I said, Prabhuji, still what all things I should cover? Then he said mainly focus on Prabhupada's purport only. I said, but what about Acharya commentaries and what about other flows and surrender? He said, that little bit is okay. But he said, majority of the audiences today are not reading Prabhupada purports only. They have not sufficiently appreciated Prabhupada's purport only. So he said, especially all of you are from voice background, so at least you might have read 1 or 2 times Bhagavad Gita in your readings. So you are in a much, but many times we get to congregation devotees, they are not even read Bhagavad Gita once only. They are a first time attending in Bhakti Shastri. So Prabhuji said, you have to highlight and glorify Srila Prabhupada purport. So that's why I thought I did not wanted to miss any Prabhupada purport in reading. Generally, otherwise in Bhakti Shastri, they don't cover all the purports of Srila Prabhupada. They just give the overview. But I thought, let's not give Prabhupada purports. Okay, Prabhu. So 41st verse, no? I think we read this one. Prabhu, who is going to read?
Yes, Prabhu.
शङ्करो नरकायैव कुलघ्नानां कुलस्य च पतन्ति पितरो हि येषां लुप्तपिण्डोदकक्रिया.
Translation. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped.
Yeah, so in Garud Puran, a lot of things are being mentioned about this. So, about why this Shraddha is done. So, shall devotees also do the Shraddha, Pinda, Dana, and not? This question comes. So, we can appreciate Arjuna's statement here. Arjuna is saying here that even, like, if we can just say, if Arjuna says, even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he traveled to Gaya, to perform the Shraddha ceremony for his father. So, are such sacrifices important or not so important? Because ancestors and our forefathers, they depend on those ceremonies to attain freedom from suffering. So, if they are suffering somewhere, so these ceremonies are very crucial. And if these ceremonies are not done and offerings of Shraddha is being stopped to the forefathers, then generations of family members will remain in the hell. So Arjuna was considering not based on only sinful reaction, that okay, not based on his own enjoyment. Arjuna's argument appeared very logical because he was telling that if people, ancestors don't get the offering, they will remain in the hell. They will suffer. So you see, Arjuna is not just a selfish person. He's thinking very logically about even his family members. And Srila Prabhupada in his purport is writing the very beautiful verse from 11th canto. Devarshibhutaptaprinam nidam pitrunam na kinkaro nayam rinich rajan sarvatmanayan sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parihritya krityam parihitya kartam, he says. So this is the verse Prabhupada quotes from 11th canto. And Prabhupada says, Prabhupada before only clarifies, he says, any person, anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, who is giver of mukti, who is giver of liberation, and Prabhupada is writing here, he has no obligation. He gives up all obligation and in his all path of seriousness, he has no duty towards demigods, he has no duty towards sages, he has no duties towards forefathers, ancestors, and nothing. All his obligations are automatically fulfilled because of performing bhakti to Mukunda. So Prabhupada is writing here. So Arjuna here is considering about whether if Pindadana and other things are closed, then what will happen? 42nd. दोषैरेतकुलग्नानां वर्णशङ्करकारकै उत्साद्यन्ते जातिधर्मा कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वता. Yes,
By
Prabhu.
the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated.
Yeah. So quickly read the short purport.
Purport: community projects for the four orders of human society combined with the family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatan Dharma or Varnashram Dharma are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Therefore, breaking of the Sanatan Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society, and consequently, people forget the aim of life, Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos.
Yeah. So even as the preachers of Krishna consciousness movement, sometimes we are too excited to break the basic things of people. Like I remember once when I was working in the company, there was one of my friend, and we used to go to company together in bus or vehicle. And during our travels, we had used to, every day for almost more than 1 year, we used to travel together. And every day I used to have a very strong debate. I used to tell him today what I heard in the morning class. And we used to repeat download entire lecture on him. and sometimes share and huge debate to and fro, debate चलता रहता था। और बहुत सारा डिबेट हमारा डेमिगॉड्स के ऊपर रहता था, डेमिगॉड्स और ये और सब कुछ, उनके रिचुअल्स और डेमिगॉड्स, इतना ब्रेक करता था मैं। तब नया नया था उत्साह, फुल बिंदास। लेकिन वैसे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा खास, इतना करने के बाद भी कुछ खास फर्क नहीं पड़ा। वो लास्ट में एक माला भी चालू नहीं किया, एक साल इतना करने के बाद भी एक माला भी चालू नहीं हुआ, रोज उसको इतना प्रचार किया, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा। सो समटाइम्स सो कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा। सो देन आई अंडरस्टूड sometimes we are too excited to break even the basic worship which people are doing. Somebody is worshipping some demigods, somebody is worshipping, and उसको हम ऐसा ब्रेक करते हैं, अरे क्या डेमिगॉड वर्शिप करता है, अविधि पूर्वकम कृष्णा को कर। तो पहले सोचना चाहिए कि इसका पात्रता है क्या। अगर इसका पात्रता नहीं है, व्यक्ति रिसेप्टिव नहीं है, तो फिर थोड़ा उसको तो अननेसरी इतना उसको सच बात बताओ। लेकिन ठीक है, डेमिगॉड वर्शिप कंटिन्यू करने दो, ज्यादा धो मत उसको, एटलीस्ट कम से कम डेमिगॉड वर्शिप कर तो रहा है, कुछ सनातन धर्म के फोल्ड में तो है। वी प्रीच वेरी हैवीली टू इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट्स, कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स, बिकॉज वैसे में कुछ नहीं करता है, उसके लिए सिर्फ एक ही धर्म है, सनातन धर्म कुछ नहीं है, सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन ही एक धर्म है। उसका तो पूरा तहस नहस करने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। लेकिन जो ओल्डर जनरेशन होते हैं, तो उसको थोड़ा रिस्पेक्ट करना चाहिए हमें, मीन्स वी शुड नॉट टोटली ब्रेक देयर वॉट एवर दिस ट्रेडिशंस आर देयर और नॉट। वी कैन प्रीच बोल्डली, बट even if they're continuing to do those things, we may not have to totally immediately smash it down. So Arjuna is thinking same way. All projects will be destroyed. 43rd verse. Utsana kuladharmana manushyanam janardana nirake niyatam vaso bhavatiti anushruma.
Translation. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell.
So there is a concept called as Pitruloka. So Pitruloka is a place where ancestors go if they perform. But and before that also, so there is a concept of Pindadan and Shraddha. So when one family members leave, so Pitrus are waiting sometimes. Pitruloka is a good place, but there is one more place, interim place. So there is a concept of seat exchange program. I'm talking these things in an English language. Seat exchange program means unless you find out a replacement for you, like in camps, sometimes you have to cancel the registration. So you want to cancel the suffering, they say no, you have to bring a replacement for you first. You have to wait till the time replacement comes, then you will be allowed to go. You will be able to exit from this place. So similarly, there is in that loka also, unless offering comes and the new son comes, he said the ancestors and forefathers, they will always dwell in hell, like that. They will not get chance to get ahead journey.
Purport. Arjun bases his argument not on his own personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities. That is the way of receiving real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being helped by the right person who is already established in that knowledge. There is a system in the Varnashram institution by which, before death, one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement, called prayaschit. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as a result of sinful activities.
Yeah. So in this verse, the phrase Kula Dharma stands for Jati Dharma and Ashrama Dharma as well. So he said Kula Dharma. Jati, there is a Jati Dharma based on caste, based on what ashrama the person is. So he said if somebody destroys this, then it will create a lot of chaos. 44th.
Translation. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Purport. Driven by
So there are many. So I told you last time, once the story of Dipendra, the king of Nepal, how the entire traditions were destroyed because of one sinful activity. The entire genocide happened. So many instances in the history of the world. So he's conscious of the moral principles, And when this entire monarchy collapsed in Nepal, for the time being, there was a great chaos, huge chaos in Nepal. Lot of people, like in recently, we can see in Bangladesh also, when the good government is being destroyed. So we do not understand the importance of good government. We may think, na, our government is very corrupted. This party, that party, corrupted है, ये है, भ्रष्टाचार है. लेकिन सोचो तो भी, even corrupted government, there is a very big role to play. That if government is corrupted, if the government does not exist, you see what all things can happen. If the law and order is not there in the country, people will kill anyone, they will loot anyone, anything will happen. So he said that's why some better bad government than no government. So, if we kill, so the lot of law and immorality will prevail in many places. So Arjuna is worried about this. So now, 45th. This is something very powerful shloka which he's telling now. Yadi mam apratikaram ashastram shastrapanayah dhartarashtra ranne hanyus tanme shematram bhavit. Yes, ma'am.
Translation. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on battlefield.
वो बोल रहा है कि let me die, let me go and beg. He's ready to even beg. But our Krishna is telling that begging is actually very not. So what will happen if Arjuna does not fight? If Arjuna does not fight, then what will happen? He will become bereft of his occupation. He will have no occupation only. And he will have to beg for sustenance. He will not have any occupation. He cannot rule. Kshatriya means he has to rule, he has to beg. But Kshatriya cannot beg. It is unthinkable for Kshatriya to beg. So I can, there is one very beautiful story which our Bhurijan Prabhu mentions in Vishwanath Chakra Thakur commentary. He mentions once upon a time in Mahabharata, Bhima, he goes to meet Hanuman. So he doesn't go to meet Hanuman. He was traveling on a place called as Manasarovar, and there he was very attracted to one lotus flower. There was 1,000 petaled lotus flower. So Bhima wanted to go and offer that lotus flower to Draupadi. And so he arrived at that Mansarovar lake, and that lake was filled with huge, so many lotuses. Very beautiful lotuses were there. But this lake was Kuvera's lake. And Bhima did not have permission to enter into this lake. Bhima cannot enter into this lake because it was protected by hundred of yakshas and hundreds of rakshasas. They challenged Bhima and they said, "How you dare? What you are doing here? How you dare to enter this lake? You are forbidden to enter into this lake at this time." He said, "First, you have to take for a permission. Go and ask for a permission. Without that, you cannot enter into this lake. If he allows you, you may pick as many flowers as you want. But if you try to pick flowers without his permission, you will be destroyed by the Kuvera's army." And then Bhima बोले मैं और परमिशन, मैं किसी का परमिशन नहीं लेता, मैं हूं क्षत्रिय, क्षत्रिय कभी किसी से भिक्षा नहीं मांगता. He was telling from the Shastra, Kshatriya never begs, Kshatriya rules. So he said Yakshas and Rakshasas, they attacked Bhima and Bhima destroyed them all of them. He said Kshatriya का rule है, वो कभी भीख मांग के कभी भी नहीं जिंदा रह सकता. So he said for Kshatriya, begging from someone is unthinkable. So it is neither his psychology and it is not his culture. So यहाँ पे अर्जुन कह रहे हैं कि मैं begging करके रह लूंगा, but actually it is not possible. So because we need an engagement. Similarly for a devotee, sometimes कभी कभी हमें अच्छा लगता है ना, प्रभु मुझे कुछ सेवा नहीं चाहिए, कितना अच्छा होता अगर मेरा कोई वॉइस में सेवा नहीं होता तो. ये कब होता है? जनरली बहुत सेवा करने के बाद ऐसा लगता है कि प्रभु बस हो गया, थोड़ा आराम चाहिए प्रभु जी, थोड़ा सा आराम, वी नीड आराम, बहुत हो गया सेवा. फिर स्पेशली आपने बड़े बड़े कैंप्स कर लिए, प्रीचिंग प्रोग्राम्स कर लिए, फॉलो अप कर लिया, रात की नींद कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो गई है एंड जाते हो तो ऐसा लगता है तो कितना अच्छा लग रहा है. व्हेन वी कम टू यात्रास, डिवोटीज फील वेरी नाइस. यात्रास में क्यों? वाओ, कुछ टेंशन नहीं है, ना प्रीचिंग का ना जॉब का, बस दर्शन लेना है, चैंटिंग करना है, रीडिंग करना है, वाओ वेरी नाइस. बट यू सी there is a very great importance to occupation also. If you are not occupied, then mind will create a havoc in our life. So that's why those devotees who don't have job, sometimes we tell, if they don't get job for a good amount of time, we tell Prabhu, do something. कुछ तो करो, खाली मत बैठो, कुछ तो करो, ट्यूशन पढ़ाओ, कुछ तो पढ़ो, कुछ तो करो, या तो वॉइस में 10 घंटा सेवा करो. क्योंकि खाली मन जो है ना, इट इज वेरी वेरी डेडली. सो एवरीवन हैज टू हैव अ ऑक्यूपेशन बेस्ड ऑन हिज ओन साइकोलॉजिकल नेचर. If he doesn't have his but unfortunately today this is not happening because of varnashram dharma not being proper. आईटी वाला बंदा, सब लोग आईटी में घुसते हैं, उसको उसको ब्राह्मण है आईटी में घुसता है, सब आईटी में घुसते हैं, एंड देन ही फाइंड्स दैट mismatch, that this doesn't match with my occupation. So Arjuna is worried about that also, that he's telling that I will go and beg. And now 46th verse. Yes, bro. So this is the 46th and 47th. Now this will be the turning point in this chapter, that is DOUBT, turning point. Sanjaya Vacha Evam Yuktva Evam Evam Yuktva Arjuna Sankhye Rathopashta Upavishat विसृज्य शरं चापं शोकसंविघ्नमानसः.
Translation. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. Yeah.
तो I told you that story ना, कि अर्जुन के लिए बो छोड़ना, खुद से बो छोड़ना, दिस इज समथिंग लाइक वेरी सरप्राइजिंग. बिकॉज आपको स्टोरी बताया ना मैंने, अर्जुन ने अपने जीवन में एक प्रॉमिस वो लिया था कि जो भी मुझे बोलेगा कि मेरा बो मुझे छोड़ना है, उसका सत्यानाश कर दूंगा. एंड आई टोल्ड यू द स्टोरी हाउ एक बार युधिष्ठिर महाराज ने उनको डांटा कि कर्णा को बिना मारे तुम कैसे आ गए बैटलफील्ड के अंदर. सो जो अर्जुन जो है कर्ण से बैटल कर रहे थे, कर्ण ने युधिष्ठिर को घायल किया था थोड़ा बहुत, लेकिन फिर युधिष्ठिर महाराज घायल हो गए थे, तो कर्ण को मारे बिना अर्जुन बैटलफील्ड में से और युधिष्ठिर को मिलने जाते हैं. तो बोले मारा कि नहीं मारा, बोले नहीं तुमको देखने आया. और ऐसा युधिष्ठिर महाराज ने उनको गाली दिया कि बोले तुम कैसे मार सकते हो, क्षत्रिय हो या नहीं हो, फेंको तुम्हारा गांडीव वो, बोले. एंड देन अर्जुन, फिर पूरा आपको एपिसोड बताया मैंने कि गांडीव वो छोड़ना अर्जुन के लिए, दिस इज समथिंग वेरी वेरी ग्रेट, दिस थिंग्स हैपनिंग. So with this almost I think this ends with the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that here Prabhupada is also writing that now this is a turning point in the life of Arjuna. Arjuna is giving up his weapon because of his gentlemanliness, because of his soft-heartedness. So from this first chapter, what is, please read this, Prabhu.
From the first chapter, it is understood that inquiry about Atma takes place in a person who is compassionate in nature and non-violent, and not in one who is cruel and violent.
Yeah. So inquiry about Atma. And inquiry about Atma and inquiry about this actual self-realization begins when one becomes non-violent. So like we do this Mrigari drama. So Mrigari, it was very difficult to explain him initially. Soul and future reactions. By Narad Muni's grace, he explained the future reactions. But actually, we cannot be on the path of self-realization unless we give up this non-violent nature. That's why somebody takes Diksha. It is also being told, okay, follow these four regular principles. Lead a non-violent life. Lead a pure life. Then one can progress his inquiry about Atma and the process of self-realization. So this was about the first chapter now. So now there is going to, as we discussed, this is the turning point which is going to come in the life of Arjun. So second chapter begins with this Arjuna's indecision. And there is an acronym for second chapter. What acronym I mentioned, Prabhu? Anyone knows?
Gita.
Okay. So did I mention what is the long form of Gita?
No, Prabhu.
Okay. Just a minute, I'll show you. So G in Gita, the word G stands for Guru. The import. So I'm just giving you the brief. What is there in this second chapter? It's a very big chapter. We have this one. Yeah. So the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned as contents of Gita summarized by Srila Prabhupada. And other acharyas, Prabhupada is writing this because Baldev Vidyabhushan uses this title. Because it is said in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, almost entire teachings of Gita are there in a summary format. So that's why Prabhupada is using this title. But other acharyas and other Bhagavad Gita versions, they say that second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is the name of the second chapter of Gita, according to other acharyas and all. So, and Prabhupada is using contents of Gita summarized. So, here we know that Arjuna, in the second chapter, Arjuna is approaching Krishna in the mood of humility and desperation, and he has requested Krishna to give this boast. He has requested Krishna that I'm bewildered now, and you tell me. So there is an acronym called as Gita, Gita. So G stands for Guru. G stands for Guru. I stands for identity. So there is an explanation of importance of Guru in the first few shlokas. I stands for identity. What is your identity? And all the shlokas about soul, Atma, and all those shlokas will come now. Then there comes a description of T. T stands for, there are two kinds of duties. Swadharma and duties are there. Sanatan Dharma, Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. So two duties are being mentioned. Okay. And the last part of this second chapter, talks about Atmaram. Okay. So G stands for
Guru.
G stands for I stands for
Identity.
Identity.
identity. T stands for
Two
Two
duties.
dharmas.
two duties. And A stands for
Atmaram.
Atmaram.
Atmaram. So these are the four topics majorly which is there in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. How it is divided? So किसी ने आपको पूछा सेकंड चैप्टर में क्या होता है? ओ शुरुआत के कुछ वर्ष में गुरु के बारे में आने वाला है. गुरु का महत्व क्या है, गुरु के शरण में क्यों जाना चाहिए. बाद में दूसरे कुछ पार्ट में आत्मा का विद्या आने वाला है, आत्मज्ञान, सोल बॉडी डिफरेंस डेथ क्या होता है. बाद में बीच के कुछ श्लोकों में ड्यूटीज के बारे में आने वाला है. एंड लास्ट के जो श्लोक है उसमें सारा बहुत बड़ा सेक्शन 54 ऑनवर्ड्स टू 72 पूरा आत्माराम क्या होता है इसके बारे में आने वाला है. So in short, if you want a brief exact categorization, you can write down the verse number 1 to 10. Verse number 1 to 10, it tells about Guru. That Arjuna was determined not to fight, but he was confused also. So Arjuna is approaching Krishna, that I am in the dire need of knowledge. I am in dire need of guidance. And he humbly submits to Krishna. So it is said humility is the beginning of the knowledge, or humility is the end of knowledge. With humility comes all the knowledge. So unless you are humble, the knowledge cannot sink in. So Arjuna is telling, please enlighten me so that I can mitigate all the sufferings in my life. So through Arjuna's example, we can learn that the first fundamental step in spirituality is one must approach Guru. One must approach a Guru who is in the bona fide line. And most things in our life, they require guidance. And if we work under guidance, and if we have a qualified teacher to guide for, then success is guaranteed. So that is verse number 1 to 10 is about Guru. Verse number 11 to 30, that is the next 20 shlokas. Verse number 11 to 30, there is going to be description about the fundamentals of spiritual life. That is, we are not this body, we are spirit soul, we are engaged in this body, and this Jatasya Dhruva Mrityu, all the shlokas will come here. Then verse number 31 to 53, next 22 shlokas. they will discuss about the two duties. The two duties, that is Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. That Arjuna, because he's confused about, Arjuna is getting confused among all levels of dharma here. कि क्या करना चाहिए, ये धर्म ऐसा कहता है, वो धर्म ऐसा कहता है. Arjuna is getting confused. So Krishna is going to clarify. स्वधर्म क्या होता है, सनातन धर्म क्या होता है, कौन सा धर्म इंपॉर्टेंट है, कैसे इंपॉर्टेंट है. दिस ऑल थिंग्स अर्जुन कृष्णा विल क्लैरिफाई. बिकॉज अर्जुन जो बोल रहा है वो बहुत लॉजिकल लग रहा है, लेकिन वो एक एक लेवल के धर्म के हिसाब से सही बोल रहा है अर्जुन, लेकिन उसके ऊपर का जो धर्म है वो थोड़ा कुछ अलग कहता है. और ए फॉर आत्माराम. सो अभी अचानक ये इसमें थोड़ा डिवोटीज को कंफ्यूजन आएगा कि अचानक कृष्ण भगवान, तो वर्स नंबर 54 से लेके वर्स नंबर 72 तक देयर इज अ डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ आत्माराम. वाई आत्माराम? तो यहाँ पे डिवोटीज को कंफ्यूजन आता है कि क्यों ऐसा कृष्ण बता रहे हैं अचानक आत्माराम के बारे में. So basically, this Atmaram verses are being spoken. What is the result for someone who performs his duty with enthusiasm and determination? जो मैंने आपको बताया स्वधर्म और सनातन धर्म, जो व्यक्ति अपना ड्यूटी एंथुजियाज्म और डिटर्मिनेशन से करता है तो उसको क्या लाभ मिलेगा. सो he said such a person becomes Atmaram. A person who performs his duty nicely, enthusiastically, such a person will become Atmaram. Now, what is the characteristic of Atmaram? Atmaram क्या खाता है, कैसा चलता है, क्या पीता है, कैसा जीवन जीता है? All the qualities of Atmaram are being mentioned in the this last 54 to 72 shlokas. So I hope this gives a the acronym helps us to understand the entire summary of second chapter. So coming to now the first verse, that Arjuna has an indecision in his life. He's confused and he's accepting Lord Krishna as his guru. So the first three verses, Krishna is going to chastise Arjuna. He's going to tell. Okay, let's read the famous shlokas from Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Prabhu. Sanjay Vacha Tam Tatha Kripaya Vishtam AshruPurna Kulekshanam Vishidantam Idam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudanaha.
Translation. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna spoke the following words.
Yeah. So Madhusudana Krishna is speaking the following words. Purport. Prabhupada is writing very beautiful purport. You can underline this purport, where one of some of the golden statements are going to come in this purport. Yes, Prabhu, please.
Material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Shudra, or no one who laments unnecessarily. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and this conduct was not accepted from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose the Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the supreme authority, Lord Sri Krishna. This realization is possible when one works without attachment of fruitive results and is situated in the fixed conception of the real self.
Yeah. So here you see, Prabhupada's purport is really so beautiful. Prabhupada is saying material compassion, lamentation, shoka, and all this are the signs of ignorance of the real self. Such a person is not knowing the real self. So, and he said, Prabhupada is saying, people do not know where compassion has to be applied. compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. Like just to give an example, like once upon a time there was a devotee, and he stayed in a youth center for 4 years. He also attended many classes, camps, and everything. And suddenly, certain things happened that he started telling that actually my mother father are telling that my mother father are telling me that you should not eat you should eat onion garlic. I said okay, but why? So he said no, onion garlic is very good for health and it is very important. Then started saying that my mother father are telling also to drink me tea and coffee, because tea and coffee they also increase immunity and many other things are there, and coronavirus has come, and without tea and coffee it is almost impossible. So we said, okay, I don't know what is happening to this person. This state person stayed in voice for 4 years. This question started coming. Actually में कोई रुका है क्या voice में 4 साल? बाद में I said, okay, no problem, continue, take it. Then he said, okay, I want to go for this. So he stopped Krishna Prasadam also. Then he started taking tea and coffee also. And slowly, he said, my mother, father are telling me to come home and study from there only, work from home. I said, why? But why? No, he said, because home rent will be cheaper. Means unnecessary I have to pay for the rent in Pune. Anyway, my job is from work from home only. So now when you see all these things, what do you feel? मतलब ये सारे जो क्वेश्चन देखने का आपको क्या लग रहा है? मतलब व्हाट इज हैपनिंग विद दिस पर्सन?
Maybe it's not the parents. He himself want to have all these things.
ओके ओके, ऐसा लग रहा है आपको? और क्या लग रहा है?
So
He is
somewhere
drowning in the ocean of
हाँ,
nescience.
क्या क्या?
He is drowning in the ocean of nescience.
हाँ, माय गॉड, एकदम ओके। सबसे पहला क्वेश्चन आएगा, यार सचमुच ये वॉइस में रहा है क्या? तुमने संकल्प स्फूर्ति किया था क्या प्रभु? मतलब चैंटिंग भी कर छोड़ देता है, ये भी छोड़ देता है, और एकदम पेट्टी पेट्टी मटेरियलिस्टिक है। मतलब एक व्यक्ति ऑलमोस्ट एक ड्यूटी के साथ ऐसा हुआ, बहुत 30 पे बहुत सीनियर हो गया हो, लेकिन बाद में रियली प्रश्न आने लगा, यार इसने सचमुच डिवाइस किया था क्या? कभी कभी इतना साल सब कुछ करने के बाद डिवाइस ये वो एकदम बेसिक बेसिक चीजें में उसको हरी बोल हो रहा है, मतलब इतना तो खुद। सो सच क्वेश्चंस में कम। तो अर्जुन, कृष्ण यहाँ पे अर्जुन को झापड़ मार रहा है फर्स्ट वर्स में, डायरेक्ट झापड़ मारा है। यार तुम सचमुच डिवाइस किए हो ना? बाय द वे, ही सेड, डिवाइस किए हो कि नहीं किए हो? तुमको पता है तुम कौन हो? तुम इंद्र के पुत्र हो। आगे जाके बार बार कृष्ण उनको बोलने वाले हैं, तुम पृथा हो, पृथा पुत्र, या इंद्र पुत्र, पार्थ हो। अलग वर्ड से पुकारने वाले हो। जैसे प्रभु तुम ओसी रह चुके हो वॉइस में, पता है क्या? तुम रॉयल कैंप भी किए हो प्रभु, तुम वो भी किए हो, बार बार याद दिलाया जा रहा है। तो अर्जुन भी कृष्णा भी अर्जुन को झापड़ मारने वाले हो क्या प्रभु? क्या ओसी प्रभु, तुम चाल मारा भी नहीं कर सकते क्या? तुम ये प्रभु मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम इंचार्ज, मॉर्निंग में उठते नहीं? मतलब सी बार बार कृष्णा जो है झापड़ मारने वाले हैं अर्जुन को यहाँ पे। क्यों मारने वाले हैं? ताकि वो बता रहे भाई तुम्हारा, तुमसे ऐसा एक चीज एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं है। क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि तुम इंद्र के पुत्र हो अर्जुन, इंद्र सन। एंड इंद्र ऐसा छोड़, आपको सबको पता होना चाहिए क्या धर्म है क्या धर्म नहीं है। ऐसा मटेरियल बॉडी के लिए कंपैशन दिखा रहे हो तो। सो समटाइम्स वी ऑल्सो फील ना वेरी बैड। जब आप सपोज किसी बच्चे के पास जाते हो, आप उसको बोलते हो चल भाई उत्कर्ष कैंप है, उत्कर्ष कैंप में चलो, और वो बच्चा बोलता है नहीं ना प्रभु जी ना, मेरे दोस्त लोग ना एसएल वर्ल्ड जा रहे हैं या डिज्नीलैंड जा रहे हैं, या एक मूवी आ रहा है, मूवी वो देखने जाना है मुझे मेरे फ्रेंड के साथ, तो मूवी देखने के लिए मैं एसएल उत्कर्ष कैंप नहीं आऊँगा। हमको लगा क्या बेवकूफ है, मतलब एक मूवी के लिए, मतलब 3 घंटे का मूवी जिसमें कोई रियलिटी नहीं है। वी फील सो बैड एंड वी फील सो कंपैशनेट अबाउट हिम। अरे मीन्स devotees will convince only some or other. So same thing Krishna is feeling that, अरे अर्जुन के साथ में ऐसा कैसे हो गया? अर्जुन मेरा काउंसिली, मेरा डिवोटी, मेरा मेंटी, ऐसा क्या हो गया? So he said material compassion and all these things are signs of ignorance of real self. So like one devotee was telling that Prabhu, ultimately it is told na, mother father are our real God and mother father सबसे पहले भगवान होते हैं. तो क्या ये सही है या गलत है? What do you say about this? Are mother father our real God or no? First God or no? What do you say about this? Anyone would like to comment? Is this statement correct? Matrudeva bhava, Pitrudeva bhava. This statement is correct? Incorrect? Partially correct? What? You can unmute and speak.
Partially correct, Guruji.
Okay, how?
Means they have given us birth for this body, but they are not our original parents, no, Guruji?
Okay, okay. But my question is Matrudeva bhava, Pitrudeva correct or incorrect?
Yes, Guruji, it is correct because Shastra says that there are four types of Lord: Guru, Mother, Father, and the Supreme Lord. So it is a correct statement, I think.
Okay. So now mother father are telling me not to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Mother father are telling me not to do bhakti and stay with ISKCON. Don't go to ISKCON. Don't attend Gita class. So which God I should follow? Krishna is telling me here, and or mother father are saying, and mother father go take me to party also. Mother father take me to movie party, and they encourage me to eat fish and everything, eggs also. So, but they are my first God, na? So yes, Naresh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, actually, that verse is correct, but it was in Vedic culture. So in Vedic culture, even mother, father were practicing bhakti. So according to that, it is correct.
So it is said this dharma is correct, but this dharma is a lower dharma still. This is given especially for people. Earlier, people had a lot of respect for God. People did not have respect for mother, father, and neither for guru. Then बताना पड़ता है, अरे बाबा तुम्हारे पहले भगवान माता पिता है. आज भगवान लोगों को भगवान के प्रति भी प्रेम नहीं है, किसी के प्रति भी प्रेम नहीं है. Means neither mother father, neither guru. So he said mother father are God in the terms of when person is very irresponsible person. He is very careless fellow. He never respects. He rejects his mother father. He doesn't serve them. फिर उसको बताना पड़ता है भाई तुम्हारा लिए मदर फादर गॉड है, उनकी बस सेवा करो और कुछ मत करो. So person who is very responsible for such lower dharmas are given. So the dharma is important, but this is a lower dharma, and there is a little higher dharma also. That this is not the correct. There is something more. Like sometimes devotees, when their family members, relatives may not be cooperating in Krishna consciousness, they may have to speak a lie, and we say it's a transcendental morality. So we are going against dharma, but no, there is a higher dharma also. So here Krishna Prabhupada is mentioning in a very beautiful manner that compassion for the dress of a drowning man is a senseless. So we should know where compassion should be applied and where not. So he said compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. Like somebody is drowning in the ocean and you try to protect the coat of a person. You try to save the shirt of a person and not the person. Then it is senseless. So he said similarly, somebody is rescuing only the outward dress, that is gross material body. He said, so now Krishna is going to tell this very important in Sankhya Yoga. This chapter is called as Sankhya Yoga only. Sankhya Yoga means analytical study of body, soul, Atma, Paramatma, all these things. So very famous now. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupashtitam Anarya Jushtamasvargyam Akirti Karam Arjuna. So if you see in this verse, अकीर्तिकरम अर्जुना, अर्जुन को गाली देने के लिए इतना ही वर्ड काफी है. अनार्य बोल दिया उनको. हमको तो अनार्य बोला तो हमको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, लेकिन अर्जुन के लिए इट्स अ बिग थिंग. अनार्य, आप अनार्य हो. Arya means one who follows Vedic civilization is called as Arya, and the person who doesn't follow Vedic civilization is called as Anarya. So second verse. Yes, Prabhu. Please, someone can read the purport. Translation and purport.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They had not to higher planets, but to infamy."
So Prabhupada's purport.
Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical. Therefore, Lord Krishna is referred to as Bhagwan throughout the Gita. Bhagwan is the ultimate in the absolute truth. Absolute truth is realized in three phases of understanding, namely Brahman, or the impersonal, all pervasive spirit, Paramatma, or the localized aspect of the Supreme within the heart of all living entities, and Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this conception of the absolute truth is explained thus.
Yeah, so basically in this purport, Prabhupada is first telling about Prabhupada is translating the first word. Generally, this is the way commentaries are written. So every one word is taken, and then there is anvay which is being done. So I'll tell you just one simple way of memorizing shloka. Like if you want to memorize shlokas very quickly and you want to understand and remember purports also very nicely. So this is the way, this is a method to remember even purports. Like there is one devotee in our ISKCON, one Maharaj. He has verbatim purports also. Not only translation, not only shloka, purport भी almost verbatim है उनको आता है. पता है कौन है? एक बहुत स्पेशल स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर है वृंदावन में. कौन? अभिजीत प्रभु?
यूजफुलनेस अद्वैत
हाँ हाँ ओके, उनको भी आता है, बहुत लोगों को आता होगा ब्रो, लेकिन स्पेशली परम पूज्य राधा गोविंद स्वामी महाराज, ऑलमोस्ट उनको वर्स नंबर और कुछ नहीं, डायरेक्ट वर्स नंबर निकालो और डायरेक्ट परपट पढ़ते ब्रो, प्रभुपाद बुक के बिना, फट 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 फट, ओ प्रभुपाद ने इसमें ऐसा ऐसा कहा है, ये है वो है, बोला रे यार, बिना बुक के बिना परपट के कैसे, ये उतना उनको समझ आता है. So how they prepare? So I learned this, means that this will help you in future also for studying Srimad Bhagavatam, and you want to remember. And why Prabhupada ने, कभी कभी प्रश्न आता है प्रभुपाद परपट में सब चीजें लिखते क्यों है, क्यों आया परपट में ऐसा. तो this is the way commentaries are written. Whenever any shlokas are there, the first step which is to be done with the shloka is rearrangement of the words. The rearrangement of the words is to be done. So when the words are very rearranged, then they become a sentence. Currently the shloka is in a poem form. Poem में ऊपर नीचे नीचे ऊपर होता है. मैं गया था वहां पर, चलकर आया था कॉलेज में, फिर इधर गया. अब मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा क्या बोल रहा है, मतलब गाते गाते अलग हो गया, लेकिन उसको थोड़ा रीअरेंज करके बताओ. सब्जेक्ट प्रेडिकेट ऑब्जेक्ट नाउन प्रोनाउन सब ऊपर नीचे हो जाता है. ब्यूटी ऑफ संस्कृत लैंग्वेजेस, संस्कृत लैंग्वेज में कुछ भी कहीं पे भी लिखो तो भी उसका ग्रामर प्रॉपर रहता है. द ग्रामर बिकम्स वेरी प्रॉपर नो मैटर व्हाट यू डू. जस्ट गिव मी 1 सेकेंड. प्रभु, यस प्रो, हाँ यस प्रो, नहीं नहीं चल रहा है, और 10 मिनट है. हाँ वहीं पे क्या टेम्पल, ठीक है, मुझे 8:15 तक आऊंगा. वेरी गुड. हाँ वेरी गुड. Sorry, bro. So the rearrangement of the word is to be done, and this rearrangement of word is called as अन्वय. अन्वय. So अन्वय करने के लिए भी आचार्य लगते हैं, हम नहीं कर पाते ऐसा अन्वय, लेकिन थोड़ा बहुत आप प्रभुपाद की कृपा से आप भी थोड़ा बहुत संस्कृत आ गया है तो ऊपर नीचे कर सकते हो. तो अगर आप श्लोकों को रीअरेंज कर दोगे ना, तो आपको बहुत आसान हो जाएगा श्लोक याद करना, क्योंकि अभी वो वर्ड्स जो है वो सीक्वेंस में नहीं होते, तो हमें याद करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट पड़ता है. लेकिन अगर आप रीअरेंज कर दो श्लोकास को, तो आपका एक सेंटेंस बन जाएगा वो, और सेंटेंस बन जाएगा तो पूरा. और सबसे पहला जो कमेंट्री का मेथड होता है कि रीअरेंजमेंट करो, फिर एक एक वर्ड उठाओ और उसके ऊपर आपका कमेंट दो. तो प्रोपात का जो परपर्ट्स का जो पैराग्राफ होता है वो इस पैटर्न से बनता है. तो जैसे सबसे पहले इस परपर्ट में प्रोपात ने किस वर्ड को उठाया है बोलने के लिए, जैसे अभी मैं, अगर अगर आप भी ट्रांसलेटर हो या कमेंटेटर हो, सबसे पहले आप किसको उठाओगे, श्री भगवान उवाच. सबसे पहले बोलेंगे श्री, भगवान. भगवान मतलब कौन, भगवान के फुल ऑफ ऑल 6 ऑपुलेंसेस, तो भगवान के बारे में बोला होगा. देखो परपट में प्रभुपाद तुरंत लिखेंगे भगवान मतलब कौन, श्री है, एंड भगवान के 3 एस्पेक्ट्स होते हैं, तो भगवान के बारे में कुछ तो कमेंट करेंगे पहले पैराग्राफ में. दिस इज द वे. नाउ सेकंड वर्ड क्या आ रहा है, कुतस्त्वा कश्मलम इदम विषमे समुपस्थितम. अभी आप बोलोगे कुतस पे करना है क्या, नहीं कुतस पे नहीं, इसको आपको रीअरेंजमेंट करना पड़ेगा. रीअरेंजमेंट मतलब इसको सेंटेंस में बनाना पड़ेगा. तो सेंटेंस में क्या आ रहा है? द सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉडेड सेड, माय डियर अर्जुन, हाउ दिस इम्प्योरिटीज हैव कम अपॉन यू। तो यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहे हैं वो? कुतस्त्वा कशमलम इदम। तो यहाँ पे प्रभुपाद जो है सेकंड पैराग्राफ में उसके बारे में एक्सप्लेन करेंगे। आई थिंक प्रभुपाद ने पहले 2-3 पैराग्राफ पूरे उसको डेडिकेट कर दिए। श्री भगवान उवाच, भगवान मतलब क्या, पूरा फर्स्ट 3 पैराग्राफ्स आर डेडिकेटेड फॉर भगवान। भगवान कौन है, भगवान कौन है, सब कुछ उसमें। एंड लास्ट में आई थिंक वो बोलेंगे कि इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉडेड, अर्जुना's lamentation for his kinsman is certainly unbecoming, and therefore this word kutah, kutah वर्ड का यूज किया कि सरप्राइजिंग, कि कैसे ऐसा इम्प्योरिटी आ गया। बाद में दूसरे वर्ड को पकड़ा, आर्यन। आर्यन मतलब क्या? आर्यन मतलब जैसे लोग जिनको वैदिक सिविलाइजेशन पता नहीं है। सो इस तरह से प्रभुपाद परपट लिखते हैं। तो अगर आप रीअरेंजमेंट सीख जाते हो श्लोक के वर्ड्स का, देन द परपट एंड ट्रांसलेशन बिकम्स वेरी वेरी इजी टू रिमेंबर एंड वेरी relishing. You will love to memorize shlokas, you will love to memorize every word. And you see, try to do like this, your entire day will become such a Krishna conscious. There is one lecture by one devotee, shloka for a happy devotee life. Shloka for a happy devotee life, very beautiful. Just try to memorize certain shlokas every day, and you see entire day the shlokas will पूरा मन में घूमते रहेगा आपके, एक एक वर्ड। जैसे आज के कुछ श्लोक में अगर आपने देखा, अनार्य अनार्य जुष्टम, कुतस्त्वा कश्मलमिदम विषमे समुपस्थितम, अनार्य जुष्टम स्वर्गम, अकीर्तिकरम अर्जुन। ऐसे ऐसे वर्ड्स के साथ जब वर्ड फॉर वर्ड मीनिंग पढ़ेंगे, आज हम वर्ड फॉर वर्ड मीनिंग नहीं पढ़ पा रहे भक्ति शास्त्री में, बट पर्सनल रीडिंग में it is very vital to read word for word meanings also and spend some time. Sometimes we are very fear, मैं इतना सिस्टमेटिक पढ़ूंगा तो बहुत टाइम लगेगा प्रॉपर बुक रीडिंग करने में, क्योंकि हमारा इतना फ्रूटिव मेंटालिटी हो गया है ना। हमको चाहिए यार क्या कवर होगा, कितना टाइम में कवर होगा, पूरा सिलेबस खत्म करना है मुझे, खत्म। यू वांट टू फिनिश ओनली एवरीथिंग, बट ऐसा नहीं है। स्क्रिप्चरल स्टडीज आर नॉट टू बी खत्म, स्क्रिप्चरल स्टडीज आर टू बी रियलिस्ट। स्क्रिप्चरल स्टडीज रियलिश करना होता है, खत्म नहीं करना होता है। कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, टाइम लगने दो, आनंद लो। अल्टीमेटली जीवन आनंद के लिए है। जो शास्त्रों का आनंद लीजिए, श्लोकस का आनंद लीजिए। देयर इज नो नथिंग रॉन्ग इन रिलिशिंग द शास्त्र। एंड इफ यू डू लाइक दिस, reciting scriptures will become sense gratification for us. So you can experience this. Reciting scriptures will become sense gratification soon. So this is the so I'll just mention from Vishnu our he what he's telling from Gurujan Prabhu writes. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that all his arguments which Arjuna is giving are anarya justam. They are not befitting a person who is Aryan. Aryan person should not speak in this manner. And Krishna is telling Arjuna's impurities, whatever impurities you are showing, they will not lead you to Swarga. You will not be able to go to Swarga by this, aswargyam. And it will only create akirtim karam Arjuna. It will lead to infamy. So he said Arjuna will become infamous in the present world, and Arjuna will become infamous in the future world also. Everyone will criticize Arjuna. So Krishna is telling, because and so Krishna is not approving Arjuna's compassion here. Okay. Second verse. We'll just cover one more and then we'll stop for today. क्लैब्यं सगमा पार्थ नैतत्त्वै उपपद्यते शूद्र हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्तो उत्तिष्ठ परन्तप.
Translation. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy.
यहाँ पे आप देखो कृष्णा जो है अर्जुन को वर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं क्लैब्यम। क्लैब्यम मतलब इम्पोर्टेंट, तुम इम्पोर्टेंट हो, तुम में शक्ति नहीं है, तुम पुरुष हो कि नहीं हो, मतलब कुछ तुम्हें दम नहीं है, तुम बिना शक्ति वाले हो, इम्पोर्टेंट हो। तो इम्पोर्टेंट जनरली लाइक अ फादर इज नॉट एबल टू गिव अ चाइल्ड, हम बोलते हैं ना इम्पोर्टेंट। या सीड, सीड इज नॉट एबल टू फ्रक्टिफाई, इम्पोर्टेंट निकला है, इसमें कुछ दम नहीं है। तो इसे जनरली क्षत्रिय के लिए ऐसा वर्ड बोलना ये बहुत मतलब अपमान की बात है। क्षत्रियाज आर वेरी प्राउड एंड दे आर वेरी वर्चुअस ऑल्सो। सो बट यहाँ पे कृष्ण गाली दे रहे हैं, झापड़ मार रहे हैं, तुम, अर्जुन को बोल रहे हैं तुम मर्द नहीं हो, इज सेलिंग, तुम कमजोर हो, और तुम्हारा जो, अर्जुन को झापड़ मार रहे हैं इस प्रकार से कृष्ण, एंड इज टेलिंग, ही इज रिमाइंडिंग अर्जुन, आपका जो वंशज है बहुत बड़ा है, पार्थ हुआ, पार्थ क्लेब्यम ओ सन ऑफ पृथा, बोल रहे ना, पार्थ हुआ, और आप इंद्र के पुत्र हो, आप बहुत हेवनली प्लैनेट्स में भी राज कर चुके हो, लेकिन आज आप जो काम कर रहे हो, आप शत्रु बंधु बन गए हो, शत्रु बंधु, क्षत्रिय नहीं हो आप, शत्रु बंधु बन गए हो। तो ये said, अगर कोई व्यक्ति क्षत्रिय बोलता है अपने आप को, लेकिन कॉकरोच से डरता है, तो बोले वो कॉकरोच से अगर डर रहा है, मतलब क्षत्रिय है ही नहीं, वो क्षत्रिय से नाम का है। बहुत बार लोग कहते हैं ना मेरा कास्ट क्षत्रिय है, कॉकरोच से डरता है क्षत्रिय। ही सेड सच अ थिंग इज रिजेक्टेड। बट नाउ अर्जुन जो है अर्जुन जो है फोर्थ श्लोका में बोलने वाले हैं, ओ कृष्णा ऐसा मत सोचो, मैं नालायक नहीं हूँ, ना ही मुझे ऐसा मत सोचो कि मुझे फाइट करने में डर लगता है। तो अर्जुन जो है कृष्ण ने जो बोला है उसको रिजेक्ट करने वाले हैं, ही इज गोइंग टू डिसअप्रूव इन द फोर्थ श्लोका। सो ओके, विल जस्ट रीड दिस purport टुडे, and then tomorrow we'll cover the this one remaining part of ahead. So this chapter is a very big one. I may have to skip certain purports because quite a big chapter. Yes, Ru, quickly read third one.
Purport. Arjun was addressed as son of Pritha, who happened to be the sister of Krishna's father Vasudeva. Therefore, Arjun had a blood relationship with Krishna. If son of a Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in name only. And if the son of Brahmana acts impiously, he is a Brahman in name only. Such Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are unworthy sons of their fathers. Therefore, Krishna did not want Arjun to become an unworthy son of a Kshatriya. Arjun was the most intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. But in spite of all these credits, if Arjun abandoned the battle, he would be committing an infamous act. Therefore, Krishna said that such an attitude in Arjun did not fit his personality. Arjun might argue that he would give up the battle on the grounds of his magnanimous attitude for the most respectable Bhishma and his relatives. But Krishna considered that sort of magnanimity mere weakness of heart. Such false magnanimity was not approved by any authority. Therefore, such magnanimity or so called non-violence should be given up by persons like Arjun under the guidance of Krishna.
So this is also among the different kinds of anarthas. This one anartha, the biggest anartha which sadhaka faces, this is hridaya daurbalyam. हृदय दौर्बल्य मीन्स व्हाट? हृदय दौर्बल्य मतलब व्यक्ति को पता है क्या सही है क्या गलत है, लेकिन ही इज नॉट एबल टू टेक द राइट डिसीजन, although he knows, जानिया शुनिया वेश खाएनु, he says I know Prabhu, I know this is not to be done, लेकिन my heart is weak, I'm not able to take the decision. So Krishna is telling Arjun that you have become hridaya daurbalyam, you know everything, still you are not able to act. So this is one of the anarthas which you have. So in the next shloka tomorrow, Arjuna is going to deny that no, this is not the reason. So today, basically in the first three shloka, Krishna is slapping Arjuna. So today we have heard about Krishna's slap. So the first three shlokas, Krishna's slap, you can mention so that you can remember that अर्जुन को झापड़ मारा कृष्णा ने, वर्बल झापड़ मारा है फर्स्ट तीन श्लोकों में। और आगे जाके जो है अर्जुन जो बोलने वाले हैं, अर्जुन बोलने वाले तुम्हारा जो कंपैशन है वो सो कॉल्ड कंपैशन है, और अर्जुन बाद में बोलने वाले हैं कि नहीं, मेरा कंपैशन जो है वैसा नहीं है, मेरे और डाउट्स है। तो आगे फोर के आगे अर्जुन कल अर्जुन बात करेंगे कल से। सो आई थिंक ओनली 2 minutes are remaining. We'll stop for here, pause for here today. Any one question or discussion, confusion, then you can ask Prabhu. Yes, Rohit Prabhu.
Guruji. Guruji, in the second shloka,
Sorry, which shloka?
In the second shloka, why Krishna starting with this and counter argument to Arjuna by saying it's like what you are doing is infamy, because infamy is not a spiritual thing, we could say, but Krishna would have put a spiritual thing, an argument that you are not doing a spiritual thing, but Krishna instead is saying that this what your compassion you are showing, if you do like that, then it will lead to infamy. But infamy, if it is there also, it's not it's not like he's not doing something spiritual, not non-spiritual.
Okay. I'll show you one thing that will clarify answer. 1 minute. So we have a I have a PPT which I can show you maybe tomorrow. We can begin with that, where exactly why Krishna is speaking which verse when, why he's speaking about infamy. So because Arjuna raised certain questions. Arjuna raised certain questions about all this enjoyment, that क्या हम enjoy नहीं कर पाएंगे, and then Arjuna has raised question about हम compassion के बारे में question raise किया. तो कृष्णा जो है उसको सिस्टमेटिकली ऐसे नहीं कि एक एक करके नंबर 1 नंबर 2 नंबर 3 आंसर करने वाले हैं. वो अलग अलग श्लोकों में पांचों आर्ग्यूमेंट्स को अलग अलग टाइम पे उसको आंसर देने वाला है. सो वट एवर कृष्णा अर्जुना आस्ट, सो उनका आंसर देने वाले. सबसे पहले वो जैसे अर्जुन का क्वेश्चन था, अर्जुन का जो क्वेश्चन था कौन से श्लोक में कौन सा आर्ग्यूमेंट डिफीट हुआ है. maybe I will show you that tomorrow. We can begin with that. That this is the first argument being answered here, second argument being answered here. So about enjoyment he asked. So infamy is speaking. So वो बोलेगा मैं वैसे ही इनफेमस बन जाऊंगा और मैं वैसे ही मेरा एंजॉयमेंट नहीं कर पाऊंगा, किसको दिखाऊंगा. तो बोले तुम वैसे ही इनफेमस बनने वाले हो, अगर तुम इस प्रकार का डीलिंग करने वाले हो तो वैसे ही इनफेमस होने वाले हो तुम. तो यहाँ पे उस एंजॉयमेंट आर्गुमेंट का आंसर हो जाए. यस रवि.
In the 2.1st verse, at the very end, it is written that the realization of Atma is possible only when the one has the desire. I mean, one works without the fruity result. Like, is it like Nishkam Karma Yoga is prerequisite for the Sankhya Yoga or like that?
Actually, in Prabhupada is writing that, no? Prabhupada is writing
Yes,
that
yes.
one works without fruitive results.
Yeah, like this realization is possible only when one works without the fruity results.
Actually, when I read, means I know especially Prabhupada focusing mainly on, means I did not think about this flow. Maybe I had to think more, maybe I had to clarify about fruitive results wala thing. But especially Prabhupada raised about that was someone has to become non-violent. That one non-violent and gentle person, he gets an inquiry about Atma. And someone who is violent, he will never get Atma Jigyasa will not come. But I myself did not think much about this statement that one has to work without fruitive result, then Atma inquiry will come. Maybe in the future chapters, I think it will become more clear. The third chapter, because Acharya commentary is another. I also did not think about much this statement.
Okay.
Yes, Alkesh Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. So that indecision means the Arjuna was not able to make the decision. So what was the cause of it? It was just because of lack of knowledge.
Oh, here that is not 5 reasons he is giving that is not able to make decision because of. Prabhupada also said because of material identity. That's why in the second chapter of material identification he had. That's why he was not able to make the decision. And again, before he got confused because he wanted pratyaksha. Pratyaksha leads to illusion. And Krishna said, why you are going for pratyaksha? It can lead to illusion. So then Krishna said, no, go for Shabda, I am telling. So now again Arjuna has to surrender and accept Shabda of the Lord. So again in the second chapter he is going to Guru and getting guidance. So Arjuna was mainly bewildered because of materialistic outlook, material outlook, bodily identification. He was confused. And he was confused between the different levels of dharma. So one is this dharma, lower dharma, higher dharma, this dharma, whether I should follow my mother, father, whether I should follow scriptures or whether I should follow my guru, all confusion. So all this confusion was happening because of lack of spiritual knowledge, mainly what you said, lack of spiritual knowledge. So although Arjuna is not having lack of spiritual knowledge, he is playing the role of a dramatic conditioned soul. He is playing a drama of a conditioned soul for all of us to get this knowledge. So Arjuna is not in that situation, Proji, but he's playing that lack of spiritual knowledge. So all these symptoms are of lack of spiritual knowledge.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes, Satyanarayan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thank you for the class, bro. Bro, wanted to ask, as you mentioned that the second chapter is Sankhya Yoga. So the Sankhya Yoga is it the same that the Sankhya word comes from the Sankhya, bro, that we see like in
Sankhya means everything divided into 24 elements. That is generally technically called as Sankhya Yoga. I remember in the medical, so some of you are from biology background. Biology background, we 11th, 12th, like we do. Although there is a subject biology, we do dissection, and doctors also do dissection. तो हमारे शंक रूम में नो उन्होंने काटा होगा कुछ काटते हैं ना, यानी चूहे को काटते हैं, फ्रॉक को काटते हैं, पूरा डायसेक्शन करते हैं हर
Cockroach.
बॉडी। तो पूरा डायसेक्ट करते हैं सब। तो अब बॉडी के हर अलग अलग पार्ट को अलग अलग करते हैं, देखते हैं ये क्या है, वो क्या है, ये माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया, ये है, वो सब पता नहीं मुझे टेक्निकली क्या होता है, सब कुछ अलग अलग करते हैं, तो उसको कहते हैं सांख्य। So Sankhya is a method. So there are two kinds of Sankhya. One Sankhya is a impersonalistic Sankhya, which is a dry Sankhya, and one is devotional Sankhya. So here we are getting devotional Sankhya, which is Sankhya is there especially to produce detachment. जब भी अटैचमेंट प्रोड्यूस होती है तो सांख्य का बहुत सांख्य हमको हेल्प करता है। सांख्य मतलब अलग अलग करो। एक सिंपल उदाहरण आता है कि अगर किसी को केक के प्रति बहुत आकर्षण हो गया है, उसको केक खा के रह ही नहीं सकता, हो केक के बिना रह ही नहीं सकता, तो कभी कभी क्या किया जाता है, चलो भाई तुमको केक से अट्रैक्शन है तो एक काम करो, एक कप में मैदा रखो, दूसरे कप में घी रखो, तीसरे कप में शुगर रखो एकदम, चौथे कप में बेकिंग पाउडर रखो, फिफ्थ कप में ऐसा रखो। अगर ये सारी चीजें आपके सामने रख दी जाए तो आपको अट्रैक्शन होगा क्या? इससे नहीं हो रहा अट्रैक्शन, वो सब साथ में आती तब अट्रैक्शन हो रहा है। तो वो बोलते हैं कि असंख्य मतलब सबको एनालिटिकली डिस्कस करो। पता है क्या इसमें मैदा है? मैदा मतलब पता है, एक बार पेट के अंदर गया ना, इजी टू गो इन, नेवर कम्स आउट। मतलब पहले बता दिया आपको, फिलोसफी के लिए बता दिया। बाद में बोले अगली बार जब समोसा खाएगा आदमी, बोले अरे मैदा इजी टू गो इन, वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू कम आउट, बार बार याद आएगा उसको। शुगर, शुगर शुगर में सल्फर है, पता है क्या आपको? शुगर के अंदर आप जिस स्वीट का आप आनंद ले रहे हो उसमें है सल्फर। और सल्फर कैसे आता है, कितना गंदगी के प्रोसेस से बनता है, जरा देखोगे आप? बोले नहीं खाना बाबा स्वीट मुझे। इसलिए जो व्यक्ति स्वीट बनाता है ना बहुत बार, वो स्वीट खाता नहीं है। जो इसने स्वीट बनाया है बहुत मेहनत करके, वो स्वीट खाएगा नहीं। जो नहीं देखा उसको वो खाता है, क्योंकि उसको पता है मैंने कितना शुगर डाला है, मैंने क्या डाला है, सब पता है उसको, मैंने क्या गड़बड़ किया है शुगर बनाने, मतलब जो बनाता है। सांख्य मीन्स बेसिकली एनालिटिकल स्टडी, पूरा एकदम डीप में देखो, ऐसा ऐसा क्या रियलिटी देखो। तो यहाँ पे सांख्य बताया गया, आत्मा क्या, परमात्मा क्या, शरीर क्या, सोल क्या, पूरा डिवाइड किया गया, मैटर क्या, सेंसेस क्या, पूरे बॉडी का डायसेक्शन किया जा रहा है, इसलिए उसका नाम सांख्य योग। हरे
thank you,
कृष्ण।
bro.
Okay, Prabhu, I think I have to leave now. We'll meet tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Shila Prabhupada की जय। वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यः पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।